Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal bringing you another podcast. It is the 51 edition of the Mr. Informal podcast. That is Mr. Informal podcast, episode 51, or maybe the 51st, however you want to call it. And I hope you are doing great in this beautiful sunny weekend in SoCal, Southern California. And we have four topics for today. So, number one, Nike Mark Parker, who is the CEO, is basically 100% in support of no tolerance in the workplace because apparently Nike's offices has a toxic environment. Not only that, a lot of women cannot grow within the company. Why am I not surprised? And he acts like he's just finding this out. Another one is Levi's is not as sustainable as the company thought it was, or many fans think that Levi's is sustainable, but apparently not. Number four, TOMS Shoes is in trouble. I would not be surprised if they file for bankruptcy, but it seems like they have a lot of debt. Last but not least, Twitter again changes everybody's password. You must change your Twitter password ASAP if you do have Twitter. Luckily for me, I do not have Twitter, but I don't really have a lot of social media. So as you know, on my website, that's mrinformal.com, I only have Instagram, so follow me at Mr. Informal. That's MISTERINFORMAL. That's Mr. Informal. Check out my website, mrinformal.com, for some good stuff, for some nice stuff, for some great essay stuff. You know the whole bit. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this Mr. Informal podcast. So, in recent news, an anonymous survey completed by some Nike employees have revealed uncomfortable, unfair, and even sexist behavior at the brand's headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. After hearing this, CEO of Nike, Mark Parker, suddenly want to address these issues. He stated that while many of us feel like we're treated with respect at Nike, that wasn't the case in all teams, and if all of our teammates don't see the same opportunities, we just can't accept that. He also said that it has been a painful moment in his life hearing about this. He asked all Nike employees to support each other, be energetic, engaged, constructive, and passionate, yet respectful, open, and humble. Let's move towards the future. Let's move toward that future. I'm in 100%, and I'm counting on you to be all in too. What does that really mean? That's all talk, no action. I mean, he acts like this is the first time he's heard about this. I've heard about this a long time ago because I had some few friends working with Nike, and they say the same thing. HR is useless. The complaints that you give to HR don't get you anywhere, don't get a resolution. So I don't understand why he's just finding this out. As a matter of fact, I'm not surprised because whenever you are a big conglomerate company or a corporate, these things will happen. But what makes it frustrating for me is that Mark Parker is just trying to solve this issue out. He's trying to fix this issue. Why couldn't he fix this a long time ago? Is this because it's in light of the women's complaint that we are trending as of right now? Is it because of women and sexist behavior that we are issuing in this time and in this trend that America is facing? The fact is that Nike is not the only issue, is not the only company that's going through this. As you know, Hollywood is going through this, major studios, but the biggest sportswear company is going through this. This is big trouble. But the fact is that this guy, Mark Parker, what's frustrates me is he's only dealing with this issue now. Why couldn't he deal it with 10 years ago? Like, what about the sweatshops? What about the factory conditions? I mean, it's not just within the headquarters that's a major issue that must be resolved. It's all parts of Nike. I mean, as you know, he stated that in this article is that everyone, I mean everyone, should support each other, be energetic, engaged, constructive criticism, and passionate yet respectful and open and humble. That's all talk, but where's the action? If I was him, I would say, okay, HR, give me the last 3 months of complaints. I want to know, and what has been done to resolve this issue. And if my HR, because it seems like the HR of this of Nike is not doing well, I'm certainly going to resolve that issue, because I would not be surprised if HR did not do anything. I mean anything about this. So check this out, right? So the New York Times revealed that they interviewed more than 50 current and former employees for the article, which details at least 6 top executives left or said they were planning to leave the company. This includes Trevor Edwards, president of Nike brand, who was widely viewed as the leading candidate to succeed Mr. Parker. Wow. That's a big deal. I mean, when you have someone that leaves that will succeed you as a CEO, you know that there's something wrong here. Not only that, we also seen some former employees stating that they got some issues with crucial division of the company like basketball. So not only that, a number of high-level executives have departed from Nike following the internal survey, while some employees of the brand are skeptical of its human resources department. See, this is exactly what I mean. That would be the first thing I would do. Give me the 3 months of complaint in this company HR and show me what kind of resolution have been done. And if HR did not do anything about that, even 90% that they did not do anything about, I would absolutely be pissed. Absolutely be pissed. As a CEO of the biggest sportswear company and I'm not know about this, certainly I'd be pissed. But then again, I'm very critical of Mark Parker because apparently I feel like he's not doing his job internally. He's always focusing on, what kind of designs, what kind of things can we do better as a company to stay number one or not to lose profits. Get what I mean? But in any case, we'll see what the future of Nike holds in regards to workers in working environments. So I read this article from glossy.co. So it's a report, Levi's is all talk and no action on sustainability. So check this out, right? According to the report, Levi's can be traced to more than 2,200 deaths or disabilities in 2016, a number calculated by using its pollution volume percentage across the industry, then calculating its tied to illness traced to toxic pollution from retail, factories, and coal plants. It also claims Levi's contributes to an estimated 30 additional deaths related to climate change annually because it's released the same amount of pollution as 1.1 million cars. Wow. Unbelievable. Not only that, Levi's made a public commitment to improving its supply chain in November 2016. And also Levi's has a long-standing commitment to taking action on climate change. And we're committed to reducing emission by 25% using 20% renewable energy by 2020, and we're on track to exceeding its goals. Now the article says the report found 99% of Levi's pollution comes from its supply chain, including from facilities that handle fiber, yarn, and fabric. So basically the factory. So Levi's trying to say in the headquarters in office, they're reducing their emissions, they're reducing their amount of energy, and also reducing the amount of carbon footprint. But the fact is that they're not actually making an impact here. what the report is saying, okay, that's great and all, but what about the actual place that matters, the factory? How are you trying to reduce, reuse, or recycle, or however you want to be sustainable in your factory line? Not only that, the report stated that there has been deaths due to your factory, and there has been disability. There's also been harmful chemicals that's being used in the factory. So what's basically saying that, okay, you done with your 10%, but what about your 90%? What about your factory line? Are you reducing the amount of chemicals? Are you instead using actual natural dye instead? What about use natural chemicals? No, I shouldn't say natural chemicals. I say natural liquids, natural energy, natural resources. I mean, do that instead of using chemicals. I mean, Japan has been doing it, dyeing their yarn in using indigo plant. Could just be water. I mean, think about it. But the fact is that Levi's core company, they're also fast fashion, even though they don't want to be. But the fact is that they are fast fashion because a lot of their Levi's jeans nowadays are not as quality made, and it's not durable as it used to be. I mean, you got different price segments, whether it be they're selling different quality fabrics to JCPenney, to Macy's, to Burlington, to Nordstrom. I mean, their flagship stores, whatever it may be. So, I do have a big problem with this, is that I know what Levi is trying to say, but hearing this report, you can tell that they really are not doing much. I mean, little increments here and there, but they have to make sure that the working environments should be safe. I mean, it's almost like this is the same topic as the previous one, except this time it's the office environment. In this case, it's actually the factory environment. It's absolutely sickening hearing these things. I mean, I barely buy Levi's anymore because, one, they don't fit. They went to spandex. I mean, you can tell spandex is a chemical made fiber. They should have used 100% cotton. At least 100% cotton can be biodegradable easily. But in any case, I mean, they don't use 100% cotton because that's the only reason I don't buy them. I prefer mine to be 100% cotton. But what can they do? Man, this is easy. All they have to do is just go to the factory. Okay, you know what? Let's change everything. They have the money. They have the brand. They have the name. And you know what's funny about this is that it is actually more expensive to buy Levi's in China than here in the US. Could you believe that? That's absolutely ridiculous. So let's talk TOMS shoes. So last year, TOMS replaced its longtime finance chief with Deb Rieger Paganis, a director from corporate advisory and restructuring firm Alex Partners LLP. In December, the company asked Bain for an additional $18 million to support daily operations, while TOMS booked $90 million of revenue in the fourth quarter. According to a familiar with the data, only $8 million of it was profit. The revenue figure did represent an increase over prior year, but it fell short of where investors thought TOMS would be by now. TOMS debt is trading below 70 cents on the dollar, which means the market is worried and it won't be paid back in full. TOMS has about $350 million in debt. So basically, this article in Bloomberg says that they haven't made a lot of money because they're only selling one type of shoe. And TOMS Shoes has a great plan. Or I shouldn't say plan, but actually has a great great social responsibility plan. So if you buy one TOMS shoes, they give one away in a third world country that needs shoes. So that's great and all. But At the same time, they have not diversified their portfolio. I mean, in 2014, they did release TOMS eyewear, but that did not go well because obviously with the competition. Not only that, other competition have also copied their TOMS shoe silhouette, and obviously why pay $55 when you could pay $20 at Walmart, Target, or even Urban Outfitters? So it was quite interesting to see. Even Skechers followed suit with an imitation of TOMS shoes. But at the same time, their e-commerce actually did pretty good. Let's see here. Their e-commerce sales grew 56% in the fourth quarter. So that's absolutely great. But as you know, they do have $250 million in debt, and this is quite bad because it seems like TOMS shoes is not surviving because they only have two types of companies, not two types of companies, but two types of products: TOMS eyewear and also their shoes. So I mean, I do like the social responsibility plan of TOMS shoes, but I never was really into their type of shoe. I prefer wearing flip-flops, sliders, or sandals. Because when it's hot, your feet starts to sweat, and that's not something I'm okay with. And living in SoCal, it does get hot a lot. And don't get me wrong, it is a fashionable shoe. I like seeing it on women or even men, depending on the shoe style, and they do have great designs or patterns, whatever it may be. And they are also comfortable. I remember they use a cork insoles. So cork is pretty soft. It's not really good. Now at the same time, is it durable? See, TOMS shoes are not durable. Now it may last you 1 to 2 years. I mean, if you wear it every day. But the fact is that if you love it, then you're gonna have to buy more. So that's quite interesting. Not only that, they only have one type of shoe that's actually selling. I mean, I know they expanded to Oxford, Brogues, and other stuff, but why pay that when you can go to Skechers or you can go to other companies that are much more quality? I think people just bought this because they saw celebrities wearing it and also the social responsibility plan that TOMS has. But once that fad has faded, then what's next? Well, they went to the eyewear, but the eyewear never flew. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Why buy TOMS eyewear when you can buy Ray-Bans, even Chanel, Gucci, or even Persol sunglasses? So it's a lot of competition. Not only that, they only have one type of shoe that's actually selling, and once everybody has it, it's starting to fade. And it's $55, the same price as a Converse. Think about that. And the Converse has more construction, more material to use. Think about that. So if TOMS did to be successful, I mean, I was thinking sell the shoe for $30. It's probably cost what, $5 to make in a factory. Heck, I'll even be nice. Let's make it 8. I mean, it's not a lot of pieces. What do you got? A bottom sole, a fabric on top, and then insole, stitch it, boom, done. But I don't want to sound negative on it, because I'm really not negative about this brand. I'm just very critical, because I do like the social responsibility fan, and I do wish that people would buy more TOMS shoes because of it helps. But at the same time, the company also has to improve in terms of their quality, their prices, and what other things they can offer. Obviously, they also brought out a tote bag, but again, it's not a good seller. I mean, there should be other things that they could be doing. I mean, I can't think on top of my head right now, but I'm pretty sure it's possible. So, last topic for today, Twitter is in trouble. So check this out. ArsTechnica.com. During the course of regular auditing, GitHub is discovered that a recently introduced bug exposed a small number of users' password to our internal logging system. including yours. We have corrected this, but you'll need to reset your password to regain access to your account. GitHub stores users' passwords secure cryptographic hashes. However, this recently introduced bug resulted in our secure internal bugs recording plain text user password when user initiated a password reset. Unbelievable. See, how many times do we have to go through this? Always changing password. Just when these companies say, oh, it's secure and so. I mean, there's always somehow we always gotta change our password. I mean, I feel sorry for old people nowadays because password, and then you get internal breach, hacks. Now you gotta change your password. Now you gotta write it down. It's like, man, it's crazy. I know Twitter has a good security and this doesn't happen often. Actually, no, let me take it back. I know that Twitter is trying to improve their security, but the fact is that every time I hear about Twitter, it's mostly about password change. I absolutely do not get it. Twitter has to find a better way of actually making their server secure. I know that it was a third-party software or even an app, GitHub, that got in trouble here, but man, there has to be a testing or even a second testing, an inspection, a check and balances that this should not be happening. Think about it. Facebook also got into this too, even Instagram. But I really don't understand what a lot of these companies are doing. I actually don't. And Twitter is just happened to be a big social media, and everybody basically needs to change their password. So what lessons can be learned here? Obviously, checks and balances, gotta fix the issue, gotta fix that bug. But if it happens again, what's next? What if it was Twitter own problem here? What if they actually expose users' password, users log in? I mean, then what's next? I mean, will there be a time when we finally stop having to reset our password? Will there be a secure enough some type of security system or some app that is so secure that only you or nobody can hack? I mean, I'm trying to think of something, but I can't right now. Maybe obviously biometrics, but even then it's still stored into some server, so it seems like nothing is secure nowadays. Absolutely nothing. And the only thing that's secure is that if you don't have Twitter, right? That way people don't know about you. But I mean, the future seems bleak when it comes to social media or just password alone in the internet. I mean, anything can be hacked, anything can be taken. So, I mean, all I have to say is Twitter just needs to get better and make sure that whoever their third party is, they're actually secured, have a good relationship, have good inspection, have a good review and checks and balances. And so that basically concludes the Mr. Informal 51 podcast. I mean, Mr. Informal 51st podcast. Don't forget to check out my website, mrinformal.com. That's MRINFORMAL.com. Also check me out on Instagram. Follow me, like, or whatever you want to do at Mr. Informal. That's MISTERINFORMALL. So I will see you in the next podcast. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you learned something today. Bye bye.